We've made some videos about our family history, and we've made some videos about food. So now it's time to make a video that combines our family history and food. Unique cuisine that was handed down from one generation to another in our family. Now this first menu item comes from the Albee side of the family, and it has its roots in the New England area of the United States. My mother was eating this food when she was a child living in Vermont.
And I too was introduced to this food when I was in my 9th grade year and lived in Wellesley, Massachusetts.
And what is this New England delicacy? It's brown bread in a can. Brown bread in a can is a dense, moist food. Not like your typical bread. It's maybe a little more cake-like or like a bran muffin. It's moist like banana bread, but just without the bananas. And it's made from cornmeal, wheat flour, rye flour, and molasses. Now to give you a little history, before there was ever a New England, there was Old England. And in Old England, they made something called thirded bread. It was a bread made from thirds, 1/3 wheat, 1/3 rye, and 1/3 oats. Apparently, wheat was a little more expensive to produce, so mixing it with other grains made the bread more affordable. And then when the Pilgrims came to America, they developed their own form of thirded bread, but they used corn in place of the oats. And when they baked it, it turned out a little like pudding. And that pudding bread later became known as Boston brown bread. Now let's get into eating it. Some people eat it at room temperature, but I prefer it warmed. Now, you could warm it up in a microwave or in a toaster oven, but we didn't have those appliances when I was a kid. We just heated up the whole can in boiling water. First, you put some water in a pan and turn on the heat. Then you need to remove the label from the can. Then place the can into the pan of water and let it heat for about 5 minutes.
5 minutes later.
Turn off the heat and remove the can with some tongs. Place the can on a plate, then use a can opener to remove both ends of the can. Then a gentle shake should release the brown bread from the can. Then you slice it, and there it is. Now, brown bread is great all by itself, with butter on it, of course. But it's even better combined with other foods, most notably baked beans. You've got the somewhat bland sweetness of brown bread with its bready, cake-like texture, and then you combine it with the different texture of soft beans and the slightly different sweetness of their brown sugar type syrup. They seem to be just made for each other. In fact, this B&M brown bread is made by the exact same New England company that makes the B&M baked beans. Now, if you really want to make this feast complete, you add slices of hot dogs. The salty beef flavor of the hot dogs works well with the sweetness of the beans and the bread to make this a truly unforgettable taste sensation. Now, let's have a taste test. We have 2 expert judges with us here today, and they've agreed to give us their honest opinions on our culinary creations. First, we'll start with the brown bread with just butter. Brown bread a la carte.
It tastes like really wet bread. I kind of like it. All right, let's see if Ella is correct. Sloshing around in your mouth is pretty good because, I don't know.
Okay, so the brown bread gets a thumbs up. Next, let's try some savory baked beans poured on top of the brown bread.
This seems a little weird. That's pretty good. And here I was thinking it was weird. It's better with the beans. Man, it's pretty good so far, but
Another thumbs up. So now, let's try the beans and the bread topped with a hot dog garnish.
alright guys, so this is probably the weirdest food combination I've ever had. Taste it, Ella. It tastes good. I'm not eating that. I hate hot dogs, and you're acting like it killed you.
And there you have it, a fine dish produced by the Pilgrims, perpetuated by our grandparents, and generating a somewhat mixed response from today's generation. Brown bread in a can. This next food item once again comes from the Albee side of the family. Now, the Albee family was never wealthy, and this is what you might call a poor man's soda, a vinegar soda.
So raise your glass if you are wrong in all the right ways. I'm the underdog.
And for this tasty treat, we're going to need 4 ingredients. Sugar, apple cider vinegar, definitely not white vinegar, baking soda, and water. Now you may be wondering, who invented this drink? Well, I don't know, but I do know that people have been drinking fruit-flavored drinks for centuries. Back in 16th century England, they had a drink called a shrub. Now, shrub drinks were made usually with some kind of fruit, and they had various other ingredients that they could add, including sometimes alcohol. And in colonial America, they started adding vinegar with the fruit, and sometime later somebody decided, hey, why not put in apple cider vinegar? We could get the fruit and the vinegar in one step. And if you've ever tasted apple cider vinegar, it's pretty tart. So somebody decided, let's sweeten it up with some sugar. And then when soda drinks became fashionable, somebody decided, let's put in some baking soda. And boom, there you've got the vinegar soda. Enough talk, let's start mixing one up. You start by putting 2 spoonfuls of sugar into a glass. We never worried about tablespoons or teaspoons, or whether they were heaping spoonfuls or level spoonfuls or anything like that. It's not rocket science. And then you pour the apple cider vinegar, just enough to cover the sugar, then just a little bit more. How much more? Whatever you think. Like I said, it's not rocket science. Then you fill the glass with tap water. Cold water is the best. And you don't fill it up all the way to the top because you're going to need a little room for the stirring. And now you're ready for the final step, the moment you've been waiting for. You take a half spoonful of baking soda, drop it in, stir it vigorously, and then immediately drink. You have to drink it right away, otherwise it'll lose some of its fizz, and then you might as well be drinking plain old apple juice. Now, let's see what our judges say.
Okay. That's really weird. It's not bad, but it's not, like, good. I'm not touching that again. Nope. I'm gone.
Okay then. I think the current lineup of soft drinks available out there has spoiled the taste of the young consumer of today. This third food item was actually a creation from my generation, originally dreamed up by my brother Keith, but later perfected by me. the grilled peanut butter sandwich. Now, this is not just any old peanut butter sandwich, so we can't use just any old peanut butter. When I was a kid, we had to make do with whatever peanut butter we had in the house, which was usually Peter Pan or Skippy. But I later found out that the ultimate peanut butter is Jif. And we usually had creamy peanut butter around our house, but Crunchy is the best. You may not agree, but Crunchy is the best. And today we're going to be using Jif Extra Crunchy Peanut Butter. Now the first step in this taste sensation is something that's pretty common: peanut butter on toast. You toast some bread and spread some peanut butter on it. Now here's a question: should I spread some butter on the toast before we put on the peanut butter? The answer is, of course. As Chef Keith has often said, there's no such thing as too much butter. Now, here's where Keith took the peanut butter toast to a new level. He put the peanut butter toast into the oven under the broiler to melt the peanut butter. Oh man, when Keith first showed me his melted peanut butter toast, it was like when they first discovered fire. Mind-blowing. You had to be careful though, because this super hot melted peanut butter could burn the roof of your mouth. And if you weren't careful and left it under the broiler for too long, you can scorch the peanut butter. And then I was the one that developed the final evolution of this culinary creation, the grilled peanut butter sandwich. Now let's see what our judges say.
That is so good. Why have you never made me this before? I mean, look at this thing. I mean, I don't want to try it anyway. I have a maniac staring at me. Yeah, she can just take it. She's stealing it. But that's okay with me because I hate it and I hate peanut butter and it's the worst.
Well, I guess the conclusion is that this is a big winner. Unless, of course, you happen to hate peanut butter. Our final food item comes from the Cyrath side of the family. Peeps. Now, Peeps were created back in 1953 as a sweet treat, but over the years they've become so much more. I'm sure some people still eat them, but they're really known for their entertainment value. Peeps in the microwave oven. It's very simple. You just put a Peep in the microwave oven, set the timer for 30 seconds, and then press the start button and just watch. Then there's the Peep Sumo Challenge. You set up 2 bunny wrestlers next to each other, and the last one standing is the winner. I think Yellow Bunny is the winner here. And then there's Peeps Jousting. You arm each contestant with a toothpick lance and face them toward each other. Whichever one is pierced by the lance and deflates first is the loser. I think maybe Pink Chick won this one. Well, that's it for this episode. We hope you've learned a little something, and we hope you've enjoyed this little taste of the past.